Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I must say that when I was reflecting on some of Linda's comments, it's quite surprising what a difference a year makes. I think that a year ago today, Doug Griffiths and Rick Orman and I were in Calgary at one of the mayor's caucuses as leadership candidates in the Progressive Conservative leadership race. And I remember during that leadership campaign how much we talked about the issues that matter to you every day and matter to Albertans every day. And so when I was reflecting on what I might talk about today, I thought what an exciting opportunity it was to keep that agenda moving forward and to think about how much I think we've accomplished in the past 12 months in terms of thinking about who we are as communities, who we are as a province, and how we need to work together to ensure that with both shared responsibility and separate responsibility, we're doing everything we can to make the right strategic decisions for Albertans and the communities that they live in, which are the communities that we're all responsible for in our own unique ways. So I'd very much like to thank AUMA and the Alberta Municipal Services Corporation for inviting me to be here to talk about what's really exciting for Albertans right now. This is always a major event in all of our calendars in whatever way that we participate in it, because it brings us together to make progress on the goals that drive us every day, which is providing Albertans with the opportunities that they seek and the outstanding quality of life that they deserve. Here, public servants, we're all public servants from different backgrounds and levels of government, share experiences and inspire new ideas and partnerships that help us to excel at what we do. And that's why so many of our government MLAs are here today. So many of our ministers are here, not only today, but all week in different sessions to talk and to listen in terms of what has to happen in our government departments and what has to happen in our caucus in order to support communities across this province. It's why our ministers are here for the dialogue sessions, meeting municipal representatives face to face, because it's crucial for our discussions to define Alberta's future. And it's a pleasure, as I said before, to stand before you today for the first time as Premier, to update you on the government's agenda and to let you know where we see Alberta's communities going and how we intend to get there together. But it's also a necessity. Any government can articulate a vision, but we can only build on that vision in conjunction with others. And that takes groundwork and it takes consultation with stakeholders and citizens, stakeholders like you. This is the way that we ensure that when policies are put forward, they truly reflect what the people that are affected want to see. And that's been fundamental to our government's approach to municipal affairs from day one, and it will remain true as we move forward with our agenda. We are very fortunate in Alberta that we get to talk about our growth. I've had the opportunity this summer to spend time with a lot of other premiers. It's an exciting country that we live in, but there is no doubt that Alberta is the engine of growth for this country. Our province has led Canada in average annual economic growth over the last 20 years, bringing people and businesses flooding in. Alberta's population has grown by over 350,000 people in the past 5 years alone, and we anticipate up to 1 million more newcomers in the next decade. And they will come here to make a life, not just a living, and they will bring the skills that we need as a province in order for us as a province and Albertans as a whole to thrive, and for our communities to thrive. But as we've said before, and as we know, they don't bring new schools for their children, and they don't bring roads, and they don't bring hospitals. That's our job. We need to build the schools, the roads, the hospitals, and the infrastructure. We have to ensure that the utilities are there to support that infrastructure, the infrastructure that leads to the quality of life that Albertans can rely on every day living in this great province. And that's why it's up to provincial and municipal governments to ensure that our province has what it needs to grow sustainably without compromising our finances. And this is what is spurring, which I'm very excited about, our review of the Municipal Government Act. We will update this Act together for the 21st century so that it reflects the unique circumstances that we're dealing with and to make sure that it works better for all of us, particularly for you. This comprehensive review will unfold over the next 3 years, so there will be plenty of time and numerous opportunities for input, dialogue, and participation. It is no small feat to take this on, but it's time to do it. We're establishing an advisory committee for municipal and business stakeholders this fall, and we intend to have comprehensive stakeholder and change implementation strategies in place by next spring so that we can start with the consultation process next summer. And I hope that each of you will take advantage of this process and let us know how and what we need to do together to work together and to manage growth. We're also working with you on other initiatives to address immediate growth issues, including the civic charter concept for Edmonton and Calgary, and the Premier's Council on Provincial and Municipal Fiscal Arrangements, which I've asked Associate Minister Weddick to chair. And we also know, as we're going through these changes, that we have to acknowledge that not every community in our province is talking about growth at the moment. Albertans are more mobile than ever. And when I travel across this province, I will very often go to communities where I will see families that have kids moving back and forth, grandchildren moving back and forth. It's almost like as families, we don't just live in one community anymore. We share those common roots and values, but it means that we're constantly moving as families and communities. We know that more families and young adults are moving away from their hometowns, moving to cities, moving to different centers. Fortunately, most of them are still staying in Alberta. And we have to be concerned, and rightly concerned, about the longevity of communities as well. And we share those concerns. We're working with you on a municipal sustainability strategy because we recognize that a vibrant province depends on the unique spirit and the generations-old friendships that you can only find in some of our smallest communities. Some of our smallest communities and some of our most historic communities. You've told us that you want more accurate information, better capacity building tools, an improved dissolution study process, and new ways of engaging with your neighbors and the province to address viability issues. And I promise you that that's what we will deliver. And as we move forward with this strategy, your feedback and ideas will continue to affect how the strategy develops as part of the MGA review process. It's fundamental to what we talk about in terms of building community across this province. This fall, we're setting up an implementation committee together with municipal associations. Multiple viability studies are expected to begin early next year as we put the proactive, inclusive, and collaborative strategy that you asked us for into practice. And I want to reassure you that these changes are not about finding ways for us to play a larger role in your affairs. Growing up, I spent a lot of time in rural Alberta, particularly in northern Alberta, especially at my grandparents' home in Redwater. And I've traveled our province from Peace River and Wood Buffalo to Cardston and Medicine Hat and an awful lot of places in between. And I know how resilient our communities are, how strong and capable Albertans are, and how when we as governments working together provide community options for families through healthcare, through education, through infrastructure in communities across this province, we see families making the choices to continue to live in smaller communities and strong communities. And we're committed to that. Those are the values that have always guided Alberta's municipalities, and it's fundamental to the way that we, as a provincial government, think about how we work with you. Many of you are already using the Regional Collaboration Program grants to put them into practice in a way that continues to support that viability. For instance, a number of towns, cities, and counties around Edmonton, including Devon, Leduc, and Strathcona, are using program funds to develop a regional solid waste management strategy. And the Municipal District of Taber is partnering with its neighbor to put RCP grants to work on a regional water study and an integrated economic development strategy. Some are sharing services like Lethbridge and Brooks, Lethbridge is doing work with the surrounding county, making city-treated water available to rural residents through a joint pipeline system. And others are sharing costs, which will be fundamental to the future. The Municipal District of Foothills and the Town of High Prairie, which have partnered on a municipal administration building, or the splitting of tax revenues like Woodlands County and the Town of Whitecourt. You are innovators, and you are taking the lead in addressing challenges, because you don't need or want anyone else telling you how to run things. But what you would like is a system that facilitates what you need to do. And I promise you that government, our government, will continue to support that. The MGA review is about clarifying responsibilities and creating improved methods of cooperation. We are all facing difficult challenges, and we can and should work together to find solutions. But we can only succeed through consensus. As Doug has noted many times, we're partners in building better communities, and better communities are the key to a stronger province. So our planning for success, for the best of all possible futures, starts here together with you. But it extends beyond to our overarching agenda for the province, and I want to take a minute just to talk about that. We have a plan with 3 priorities to focus on the things that matter the most to Albertans. People in this province understand that Alberta is opportunity, and they don't want that to change. But they know that Alberta, if it's going to stay strong, has to have the strength and the courage to use our prosperity to change. And what that means is that we will want to preserve our best qualities that make our province so special, but also to shed yesterday's thinking. And our government will help them to do that. First, we will invest in families and communities, a fundamental issue for all of us that live in our province. This is about ensuring that all Albertans are supported by a strong network of public services and that all Albertans can realize their full potential. And this means that I will continue to support healthcare and education, which are fundamental to all of our communities and to our province's success. I know, and you know, that our first quarter, in terms of what's going on economically, has caused uncertainty about funding. And it's true that low growth amongst many of our trading partners has led to doubts about the global economy, and sliding commodity prices are something that we're having to deal with. They will have an impact, and we know that we have to address that. But we aren't budgeting for Alberta's future based on the first quarter of 2012. And we will not balance the budget on the backs of municipalities. We will continue to support MSI, and we will continue to support MSI because we support Alberta's municipalities, and we know that we have to have a partnership together to provide the most fundamental support and services to our citizens. Now, you've given us a lot of positive feedback on MSI so far, and the next step in our review is developing a 3-year funding plan for budgets from 2013 through 2016. We promised you 3 years of stable and predictable funding, and that's exactly what you'll get, because we will not compromise on Albertans' quality of life, and we know that you won't either. Second, we will secure Alberta's economic future. In part, this goes back to investing in services. We will maintain a world-class education system that will allow us to build a lifelong culture of learning and opportunity. And in doing so, we will treat tax dollars with the same respect that Albertans have always expected us to. It's fundamental to who we are as Conservatives. And that's also why we introduced results-based budgeting. We're putting an end to unjustified increases in public spending and using Alberta's tax dollars to get the best results for Albertans that they've told us that they expect and that they are entitled to. And we will also find new opportunities because our economy is built on trade. Alberta has products that the world wants, especially energy. But without improved market access, our exports won't get to where they're needed. And that's why we've been able to get developing consensus on a Canadian energy strategy, a shared approach that will see governments across Canada working together to build new energy infrastructure, to cooperate on measures to improve sustainability, to open new doors to international markets, and to build an integrated Canadian energy economy so that not only Alberta, but every other province in this country will be able to benefit from the tremendous economic opportunity that the need for energy around the world presents to Canada. And third, we will advance world-leading resource stewardship. And this is about setting and achieving the environmental, economic, and social outcomes that Albertans expect from resource development. For many municipalities, the oil wells and gas fields that fuel our prosperity are more than distant features on the landscape. They are close to our homes, our schools, and our workplaces. And in many cases, they are our workplaces. And even as we rely on those installations for jobs and growth, particularly in your administrations, you want to have confidence that they are safe and that the health of families and communities is not at risk. And that's why our government is bringing in a world-class environmental monitoring system, one that will be comprehensive, scientifically credible, and transparent. And it's why we've embarked, I think very importantly, on a pipeline safety review, using independent private sector expertise to ensure that the energy infrastructure that we have in this province will continue to support not only Alberta's economy, but Alberta's communities in a safe and sustainable way. We can excel at both energy production and environmental production. We can have it both ways. It's fundamental to who we are as Albertans. Our province has amazing potential. We always say that, we always mean it, and we always achieve it. And we, as a provincial government, are committed to working with municipalities to realize it. Because under our government, you have a voice in policy making. Without you, we can't craft the policies that will bring meaningful change and improved quality of life to Albertans. For me, this convention, this meeting this week, is an opportunity for us to renew our friendship and to find new and innovative ways to work together. And I'm excited to do that. I think back to the meeting we had a year ago when Doug and I were sitting on a stage talking about new approaches, solving problems, and not delaying where we do that we need to make change, where we need to improve the environment that we have that allows everyone in this province who's responsible for making decisions the opportunity to do that. We must be partners together. I think we're strong partners together. And as we move forward, I want you to know that we will ensure that that partnership is strong. Because Albertans have entrusted all of us with their future, with their family's future. And we can't give them anything less than our best in everything that we do. And the best way for us to do that is to do it together. Thank you.